Look at your calendar. That will tell you where your business is going to be 60 to 90 days from now. There's a lot of time that can be wasted in this industry. This industry gives you complete autonomy. You can do whatever you want, but with that, most of us are lazy. So get after it, look at your calendar, double down on that, have as many face-to-face meetings and phone calls as you can, but also be intentional with the people that are around you, that you have already. Your realtors are just as important as your clients. Love on them. Tell them that they're walking on water and that you love them. Same with your financial advisors, your CPAs, your family attorneys. They are just as important as the next client.
Hey guys, Wally Olivieri. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show. 24/7 Mindset Community. Thank you so much for joining us today. What's super cool about today is it's funny, I say that every time, but these guests become cooler and cooler and cooler. So Jonathan is not only a good friend of mine, he's blessed me a ton with a lot of great mentorship around my faith. And then also we had an amazing walk together one day that was like transcended my future that I'm very thankful for. So Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Hey, that is quite the intro. Thanks for having me, Wally. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. All right. So let's kind of start off with, about our journey together. So I think the first time we really ever started hanging out was when it like a Todd Duncan's High Trust Sales Academy 2022, was it?
Might have been. Yeah, I think it was end of 2022.
Yeah. And I think we went to the same mastermind together. Then you came over to the house. We had a kind of a dinner party with a bunch of loan officers that were also there. I think what was super cool. Then we started doing double dates together, and that what about our friendship has kept us going? Where like I love where there was like zero judgment from either side of us.
Yeah, I think you're being modest, so I think I'm just going to air the laundry here. And we didn't just meet at a Todd Duncan event. You reached out to me, and I was in a really tough time in life, and I couldn't afford it. And you said, "I got you." And at that point, I realized, okay, this guy. I didn't know your motives at the time. I didn't really know you. I was like, I don't know if this is a recruiting angle. I had nothing to recruit at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'll take him up on this. And from there, we've had a really sweet friendship.
Yeah.
I haven't worked with you. I don't work with you. But I said, as a friend, let's do it because it's been awesome. We've had several amazing, deep conversations.
For sure. But then also, I think where it all started, if I remember correctly, and again, I'm like 10 years older than you. If I remember correctly, I made a Facebook post about being at the golf range or practicing or something, and you made a comment. Then I think I either sent you a DM or you sent me a DM, and you were leaving. You're about to join Fairway, and right. This was like what year was that?
It was 22.
It was
22. Summer of 22.
And I think that High Trust Sales Academy with Todd Duncan, which is like, I feel like the godfather of mortgage.
Yeah.
I've attended that 11 times. I've taught it with it multiple times, but it's an absolute blessing and a half. So what do you feel like today in 2026 you implemented from what you learned back
then? Something I've learned about Todd and from High Trust Sales Academy is just getting to the why. I think a lot of times as sales reps, you'll just try and get the deal done. And it's not even about deals anymore. Now it's really the high trust is, why are you wanting a bigger house? Oh, we need more space. Well, then the follow-up question is, why do you need more space? Oh, we have a kid on the way. Well, congrats. So now you have that emotional connection, which most people don't get to that part. They just go straight to rates and payments. And in this market, that's not going to win because rates and payments are everywhere. So you have to have that emotional connection. So that's my biggest takeaway from all the Todd Duncan coaching. He has great scripting and great systems, but that one piece has been vital.
Yeah, about 30 minutes ago, before we jumped on this podcast, I did a high trust call / lock call with a borrower. It was a $2.9 million deal. And what was super cool about it is I had not talked to this guy since 2017. 2017 is the last time I did loans with the guy, and we've reached out for annual mortgage reviews, but we've never been able to connect. He went back to my Team Wally Home Loan website, filled an application, and he was like, I was happy you're still in mortgage. I'm like, kind of, sort of, but I'm kind of retired. But then he's like, yeah, and we're going through it, and it was super cool. I mean, we talked for like 25 minutes, and literally 15 to 20 minutes of the 25 minutes was like emotionally deep dive on why he needs to do a cash out, what's going on with his kids, where he wants to help, where is his business growing, where is he trying to scale, and like the pitfalls, which I freaking love that. And it was comical the last like 5 minutes when you're talking, okay, here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your closing costs. It was the easiest lay down walk in history because I took time. And I think it's one thing that's like number one thing I learned from Todd is you take time to get to know someone. You take time to actually care. You take time to share your heart. You take time to learn about their heart and business. The close makes it super easy, and there's like no awkwardness.
Yeah. On that note, my insurance guy that I use for everything and my personal stuff, we go to church together. Our kids have grown up together. We've got a great relationship. We're friends. We've done dinner at each other's houses. So every year he sends me the full thing and treats me like a client, which he should. And it's a video and a breakdown of all the different policies. And I just say, Brad, can you just tell me which one I'm supposed to sign? I don't have time or capacity, and I fully trust you. And so I don't care about anything. So about 6 months ago, he did a second lien on his home, and he came to me with the same thing. He's like, just tell me where to sign. I don't care about the terms. You're my guy.
Yeah. And I mean, relationships like that, obviously we'd wish that every close was that easy, but relationships like that make those other ones that we experience, difficult ones that are really difficult borrowers, they make it worth it.
Absolutely.
All right. So we went from High Trust Sales Academy, and then we sparked up a friendship. Then from there, we did double dates, which I think our wives loved each other. We'll get to the puppy thing here in a minute, but you and I had a really crappy 2023. And what was super cool about it is, I mean, it was such a special Saturday morning. I remember we were just like kind of going through it, and you heard rumblings what happened about me and such. And that walk that we walked around our neighborhood, I mean, that was like a good hour and a half walk to Starbucks, and we went to the park and sat together. I mean, I've thought about that so many times, Jonathan. I'm really thankful that you cared enough to pour into me that much, most importantly. But you asked some great questions on that walk.
I think about that walk too. It was a good one. And it was one of those where the walk happened because I didn't want anything or need anything from you, but I know you needed space. And I think that's one of the best things that we can do for friends. When I was going through my hardest time in life, bottom low of lows, I reached out to a friend of mine who could easily write a check to change my life. And that's not why I called him, though. I knew that he is going to pour wisdom into me, and he took me into his house, and we sat there and cried together, and he just gave me words of wisdom and encouragement. You're a great dad. You're a great husband. You're a good businessman. You're going to do well. And so when the opportunity came to pour that back into somebody else, I was ready for it. And that happened to be you that day. And I don't want to take credit for it, but are we going to tell the story about what happened on that walk? Let's just come on. We got to tell them.
Go for it. Do you remember?
So I remember on that walk, you're very successful at what you do. And when you're that successful, you're getting offers from everybody. And you were telling me about 5 different offers with ridiculous numbers that are just not real money, and opportunities, and they were all great. My question to you was, why do you need them? Why don't you just do your own thing? And most people would take that information and sit and ponder on it, and sit for a little while, and then just end up taking an offer because it's the easy road.
Yeah.
You sent me a voicemail a couple hours later and said, man, I've done all this research online. I've reached out to 15 different brokers. I've had 10 conversations. I've done everything, and I'm going out and I'm going to start my own thing on Monday. And I thought, who does that?
It was, I mean, I just love learning. I love researching, and you get to this like euphoric adrenaline rush of learning something new. Even though, I mean, back then I had been in the mortgage business. You know, some people would say I've had a successful career for 24 years back then, and there's a whole new world out there I knew nothing about, and a broker in the wholesale space. And I understand business ridiculously well. I understand financials ridiculously well. And when you said that, I'm like, why don't you just go start your own brokerage? Why do you need to take those sign-on bonuses? I'm like, huh. And I remember we're almost done with our walk, and I got quieter as that started going. And I just grabbed my laptop when I got home, and after you took off, and I just murdered YouTube. I mean, I think by the time I sent you that text, I was like 14, 15 YouTube videos in.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, 6, 7 articles in. And I mean, I had a business plan built out the next day, and getting that ball rolling. And I think, but what's cool about that is like, I feel like God puts people in your life to challenge you with his words. And I think that you were put in my life that day to ask me a simple question. Why do I feel like I need to go take a sign-on bonus and go work for someone else when now I've got all the infrastructure built? Just go bet on yourself, Wally.
It's one of those things. I've got somebody that always says, you can't see the trees through the forest.
Yeah.
You're so ingrained in it. You see everything that's going on except for what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
And to me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, you had the capital that you needed to go out and start your own thing. You didn't need a sign-on bonus. Right. And I'll tell you, it's been really fun to watch the growth of it, because you put your own spin on it and it's grown. And we've had the conversation of, I am way too OCD, over the top controlling to even dabble with the broker world. And you've just taken it by the reins and made it your own thing. And I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably drives Nikki crazy, but I'm a huge fan of just like failing forward. I talked to Todd Bookspan the other day, and I said, "Hey, would it upset you? You know, you got Win by Noon. Think about creating an article called Fail by Noon." He goes, "Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you did not do that." But
that's great.
I said, "It's just, I mean, I fail before noon so many times, more than people even try to succeed." And all week long. I think when you adopt the mindset that failure is part of success, failure is part of the journey of success. 2023 had to happen for you to bet on yourself and me bet on myself. I mean, I think if you rewind 2022, 21, 20, we're sitting fat and happy. And there wasn't in I don't know, I won't speak for you, but I'll be the first to tell you that remember it was there's a great financial advisor that's been a mentor of the years. His name is John Q. And he's from Northwestern Mutual. He's out of Frisco. And he asked him once, I said, he's a huge faith-based guy. And I said, talk to me about like your faith, and why do people say they're afraid, they fear God? Fear God. And I said, I don't fear God, I love God. And his response is, the only reason you don't fear God, Wally, is because you feel all your success that you've accomplished here on earth is because of you and not because of him. And I am 1000% confident the ego was so big, the drive and the ambition was so big, 2021, 22, that God humbled me drastically for me to want to need him in 2023. And the reason why the climb of Aspire, or the climb of 24/7 mindset, has been so gigantic the last 2 years is 100% because the deeper my faith.
Absolutely. I was in a room with David Green a couple of weeks ago. David Green is the CEO of Hobby Lobby, and it's a billionaire. And it was really interesting hearing him tell his story. So when David and his wife started Hobby Lobby, they took out a loan for $600, which is crazy to think, because they thought it'd be fun to build picture frames in their garage. And then at one point, they were called in front of the church, and he just felt like an ATM. And the pastor said, look, I don't want you to think that you're an ATM. I want you to realize that you are running God's business, and you're going to use that to bless the ministry and, help a million people. And from that moment on, David said, look, it's not my business, it's God's business. God's my boss. And so everything I give is going to be because of that. And so now they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they give 50% of their profits away. It's unreal.
That's
Who does that? Another friend says, look, God's the CEO of my business. So if you don't want me to talk about God or give him credit, I'm going to get fired. I'm going to lose it all, right? Because if I don't give the boss credit, I no longer have a job. And we've both been in a place where we were riding fat and happy, and the market was well, and our pockets were full, and we had big heads. Let's just call it what it is. All lenders and realtors do. When you're crushing the business, you think it's you. When it's gone, you realize it's not.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it was super cool. Also, most people don't know this part of our friendship is, I remember I struggled with alcohol. I struggled with being in the right mental space. And I remember it was early March of 2024. It was like, if something would go good in my life, I'm like, God, I need a drink to celebrate. And if something would go bad in my life, I'm like, God, I need a drink, like, because you're going to lead me to drinking. And I remember when I made the commitment to stop drinking March 16th of 2024, it was one of these things that it was ridiculously hard for me to do. But I remember our talk, and I mean, your last drink was what? Like, you're 19, 20 years old?
Never had a drink. Never had a drink. People are surprised when I tell them that. I've never had a drink. I've never smoked. And that's not because I grew up completely sheltered. I did have a strict household, but I saw it taking a grip of people's lives. And it was something that I just never wanted to dabble in. And so for me, when you told me you were done drinking, I was like, welcome to the good life.
For sure. And I think it's one of these things, it's definitely been a blessing. It's given me a crap ton of mental clarity. It's made me so much more successful in business. I've slept the best. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm a much better father and a much better husband because I'm much more patient without alcohol. I don't know what is an alcohol that causes, but I was definitely very always on edge, very always just easily irritated. That's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
So.
And I love that for you. I've seen a change in you. I'm sure Nikki has as well over the last couple of years, and I'm proud of you. How many months are we in now?
With 23 months. So it'll be March 16th of this year. Will be a full 2 years, and Nikki's about the same. So we've got 300 plus bottles of wine at the house, a ton of tequila, and the only people that drink it's my college kids.
There you go. Give them away as gifts. People love them. You've got a great collection to give away.
We had a dinner party the other day. I'm like, all right, everybody gets to walk away with 3 bottles of wine. And I think I gave away like 20 small bottles, but it's been pretty neat, man. So, all right, talk to us about your client. So you got out of the reload space, right? And then you had to, in 2023 and 24, you had to go build yourself. You worked at a previous company and you did a lot of lead gen. And then you rebuilt yourself, pulled yourself out of the ashes. Not like a lot of loan officers can say that. A lot of loan officers simply got out of the industry. Talk to us about like how you rebuilt yourself and getting your teeth kicked in 23, pulling yourself up in 24, building the foundation in 25, and now what does 26 look like for you?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So I've been in the industry since 2009. I started as a processor, underwriter, worked up to selling corporate and relo, and was originating at a company down here, and we were crushing life. And unfortunately, May 17th, 2022, 7 minutes changed my life. And I was called into a meeting that wasn't on my calendar. And whenever that happens, that's not good. And I was let go on the spot. And we'll skip the details on why that happened. But talking about the rebuilding, I went home at that point and looked my wife in the face, tears in our eyes, no pipeline, no connections. I'd never done I never originated with realtors, financial advisors, CPAs. We had zero network, just wasn't the job. So I was literally starting over, and my wife looked at me at that time. She said, I believe in you. Whatever you want to do, I've got your back. She goes, but I think you should stay in mortgage and rebuild it because you know it. And at that point, I did the dumb thing, and I started becoming an originator. And I was officially licensed in July of 2022. Yep. And I didn't do my first deal until October of 2022. So I tell everybody when they say, hey, how long have you been in the industry? October of 2022 is when I started. I've got plenty of history before that, but that's when I started. And before that, I thought being an LO is the easiest thing in the world. You just got to, close a quick 30 million, make some great money, not a big deal, wine and dine some realtors, and you'll be set. Let me tell you, I give credit to anybody who tries this and makes it past their first 2 years. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's hard. You have to do things you didn't think you'd want to do. You got to kiss a lot of frogs to start off. And I did it the hard way. There were plenty of friends and people that I had in the industry that reached out and asked me to come join their teams. And I was stubborn and I didn't want to hand out. And I don't recommend that for anybody. I think go ahead, if you're starting fresh off, join a team, learn the ropes. But I knew the ropes and I wanted to build something for myself. And this was a little bit of pride. But I wanted to build something for myself that didn't have anybody else's name on it so that nobody could ever take it away again. Truthfully, that is what it came down to. And it was the hard road. But I joined Fairway, and they're a great company and solid group of guys that I was with. However, 9 months in, I realized there were other opportunities out there that were a better fit for where I was. And so I joined another company where I had access through an MSA with a real estate company where I was able to teach realtors every time that they were onboarded. And this company would onboard new agents every couple months. And so I was their mortgage 101 expert. I would get the open door while it was locked to everybody else. So I had a captive audience where I could go in and establish relationships, which was great. In 2023, I made 10% of what I made in 2021. So you talk about adjusting life, removing idols, things that you thought were really important, country club memberships, things that I held near and dear that I thought, I'm crushing life, I should have these things, slowly stripped away until I was in a position where I had nothing left. And it was there where I thought God told me, cool, now I can build on this foundation. This is something that I can build a business on. This is something where I can build you up because now you know it's not you. And so from there, things really started to take off. So in 2023, by the end of that, I think it was around 15 million or so my first year in the industry. 2024 was about 24 million. 2025 was about 24 million. And this year, the goal is 38 million. And I'm happy to say, knock on wood, I don't even have any wood in here, but knock on wood, it's working. March looks insane. 11 in the pipeline for about 4.1 million right now. So and that's just for March. April deals are coming in. So the rebuild, as we say, was not easy. And it came through a lot of learned lessons, a lot of coaching. So I credit Todd Duncan. I credit you. I credit the core. I credit Go Coaching. I've learned from a bunch of different people and LOs who've been great and have been guests on here. Arjun, you had Arjun on as the first guest of the year. Man, I love that guy. He's awesome. I've learned so much from him. Denise, who's local, Brian, who's local, and then Sean Kaplan out in Nashville. Like all of these people, for some reason, have poured into me so much knowledge and so much friendship, and I'm grateful for it.
Have you ever met Arjun?
We've never met. We message all the time. I've never met him. I want to go out to California and meet him. He's got a couple events coming up, so I'm going to try and make that happen.
Do you want to meet him?
Yeah, we're going to make it happen.
He's flying in town next week to meet with me.
Oh, is he next week? What day?
So he's actually becoming a 24/7 mindset certified coach.
Let's go. I love it.
Yeah, so he'll be a certified coach for 24/7 mindset, which is awesome. I absolutely freaking love that guy.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's been super kind to me. He, you know, what's interesting? I made a post the other day on social media that was a random LO, or random LO you meet online will cheer for you louder than your closest friends and family.
100%.
And I posted that, and Arjun sent me a voice memo, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm rooting for you."
Yeah,
it's like, what a good guy.
So text me later. I'll send you the dates he's coming.
Yo, we'll take care of it. Awesome.
I think it'll be good. It'll be good for you two to connect. I've really enjoyed him a ton. I've really enjoyed our podcast together. And his sister was on the podcast last week, which is absolutely awesome. Neil, his brother, and I are working out time frames for me to fly out there to Vegas to record a podcast with him. So awesome. It's an absolutely awesome family and
incredible family. Talk about those genes. Unreal.
Yeah. Have you been to a Ford event before?
No, I haven't. I will be at this one though.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'll be at this next one too. I bought tickets last year, but it was the first time I went was last year. It was July of 25, and absolutely phenomenal experience. And I walked away thinking, how the heck? This is the first Ford event I ever go to. They've been doing this since like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I give Neil so much credit too, man. He kind of is the godfather on how people market themselves today on social media for mortgages. I'll give him all the credit. He may give credit to somebody else, but he was the crazy guy that said, hey, I'm going to go to social media and do some videos, and it's cringe until it works. Yeah. And truthfully, that's a big way that I have built my business. I don't have a large following, but I have good engagement with people. And it has been one of the cornerstones of my business that has really helped. And it just makes those meetings, even if it's a warm referral meeting with somebody, so much warmer because they already feel like they know you. And I credit that to Neil.
Well, let's go through that. So as you rebuilt your business, you just gave social media a big credit and what you learned from Neil. If a loan officer is trying to rebuild themselves right now, or simply trying to grow their business, what is some social media advice that's worked for you that you can pour in others?
Ooh, so this has changed over the years. When I first started making social media or making videos for social, I thought I was going to attract all of these clients. Post a video, get 100,000 views, your phone starts ringing like crazy and you're rich, right? It doesn't work that way. What I found was most of my connections are either realtors or LOs. And what's interesting about that is we're trained to go kill. We go look for the deal. And that was the young, naive me and immature me not realizing that as you build relationships, they compound over time and eventually something will come to you. So for example, I did a video and ended up golfing with a guy 4 years ago. And at the time he's like, hey, I've seen your stuff, which was cool. He wasn't in real estate. I kind of wrote him off. Well, it turns out he's a leader of a large real estate team now. I walked into his office a couple weeks ago because it was an introduction from one of my realtors. Walked in and we both stopped in the lobby and kind of looked at each other. And he's like, we played golf 4 years ago and I follow you. And I was like, there you go. Yeah. Even though I haven't been reaching out, that those warm touches through video over the last few years made it so much easier. So as far as videos go.
Did you land the team?
Oh, I'm coaching the team now. We're good. So now I've got monthly coaching sessions with that team. It's a team of 15 agents. I won't say their name or where they're located, but I get to go in there and be the guy. So it's pretty awesome, which has been something else we can talk about.
Who won a golf that day?
Oh, he smoked me. The guy's amazing. He's got one of those hockey player swings. It's not fair. And I'm not good. We can't all have simulators in our house, Wally.
I just remember one of the funniest stories. So you went to the golf range once, and you made a post on social about you at the range, and literally the human being that was standing next to you was my younger brother. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. The guy had a lot of alignment sticks going on. There's a whole thing. So I kind of was trying to get him in it, not to socially shame him, but to kind of be like, somebody's going to notice this. And then in the DMs, we can talk about it. And sure enough, you DM me, you're like, that's my brother.
We could not be any more different. He's a good 6-hour round guy. I'm like a good 3-hour round guy.
Yeah.
So funny. I take like 0 practice swings, and he takes like 6. So
I love that.
Makes sense.
One thing on social, just to put a bow on it, I think the game has changed, and it is now quantity over quality, realness over highly edited videos. And I say that because of some things Gary Vee has said recently. And if you don't know Gary Vee, go look him up. He's amazing. But a friend challenged me in January to post 100 pieces of content. And so I posted 115 pieces of content in January, which is a lot. And they're not all great, but they're there. And what that did was it had 171,000 views, touches, and my profile increased by 240 followers, which is big for me, in 30 days. And so I realized at that point, content over quality, you still want to add value, you still want to do things, but I think, and I believe, best known is going to beat best moving forward. And if you're better known, you're going to have a much easier job working with a client, a realtor, financial advisor, family attorney, anybody, if they know you first. I talked to a client last night. I'm fifth in line. Being fifth in line, and I'll tell you why. They walked into an open house, unrepresented, connected with one of the realtors that I work with, and she said, "You got to talk to Jonathan." Well, now I'm the fifth lender. And I said, the problem is you've looked at 4 Toyotas and now you want a Ferrari. I have to close that gap. But it makes it a lot more difficult. Now, had he seen my social first or talked to me first, that's a much easier sell. So I think best known beats best every time.
When did that shift happen? And what do you think caused that shift?
So the algorithms have changed where it no longer rewards your followers. It no longer rewards you for followers. It rewards total views to new people. That's where your reels will really take off. And so Gary Vee actually thinks you should be posting to 7 different platforms on as many handles as you could think of. He just said this last week at the Keller Williams family reunion. He said, look, you think of every iteration of Wally that you can, and then post that to 7 different platforms. So Wally in Dallas, Wally in Plano, Wally in Frisco, whatever it is, Wally does loans, Wally, all of the different things, because you're going to get traction because of the algorithm. You'll get more views on a new account than you will on the account that you've nurtured for the last 10 years. So there are people who are really good and they provide education and they're awesome, but their videos aren't getting any reach because it's just to their followers. They're not going to gain traction. The other thing about it too is, especially with Instagram, Instagram is rewarding people who pay. Now it is monetizing. And you've read books on lead magnets and lead ads and all that stuff. I know you do some ad spend, especially with 24 Mindset, but organic growth is essentially dead.
In YouTube or Instagram?
What's that?
In YouTube also, or only in Instagram?
YouTube is still great. YouTube Shorts is where it's at. That is a wide open field right now. But Gary says Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, X, Facebook, and Snapchat. And then the other one was Substack. Substack, he believes, is an untapped marketplace. And if you're an LO that can provide written value to people, you can create a Substack and a network that nobody else is touching right now.
All right. So for the viewers that don't understand what Substack is, including myself, what is Substack?
Yeah, fantastic question. I haven't looked it up yet. He just told me this 3 days ago.
Like, what is Substack?
Yeah. So what I gathered was that Substack has free content and paid content, and there are people who will pay to be a part of your group to have the knowledge that you're giving. And so you as an LO could go in there and create a community where you share market updates, what's going on, deals of the week, strategies of the week, and you could gain either realtor followers or people that are looking for houses who it could be free or paid, and grow your market that way.
So everything you just talked about makes sense to me, and I think it makes sense to others. But the question I'd have for you is, how do you juggle it all when you're talking about the individual loan officer? I mean, 7 platforms, posting 3-4 times a day, doing that. When do you have time to do loans?
Yeah. So when do you have time to do loans? Oh, I love this question. My mindset on that shifted too. And I know that this doesn't fall on everyone's ears the same way, but hey, this is what works for me. A mentor of mine told me, your job is to get loans, not do loans. You're the doctor and you want to figure out what's going on with the patient, but then you have a team that goes and administers whatever you prescribe. And so my calendar is completely stacked with phone calls, but everything is timed out and blocked. So I have blocks for social media to shoot videos. I have blocks to speak with clients, and they don't interlap. And obviously emergencies come up and things shift. It's not perfect. It's just like when you have multiple kids, which one do you take care of? The one that has the bloody knee. So you're going to take care of what's in front of you, but you do your best job to manage to the calendar. So when do I do loans? I do the initial consultation with the client, and then my team takes the rest of the application, sets everything up, and then I go in and set what I call a mortgage planning session, where we do a video Teams call. Video is huge for me, as you could tell. So I see every client face to face over Zoom. And we do that consultation that way, and then they're off on their way. And then we do another video at the time. But I create spaces where I have direct interaction, but the team is also putting everything together. And honestly, I couldn't do it without the team. I've got one person specifically, and she's amazing, and she holds it down.
So let's rewind here, because that is really helpful for a lot of loan officers that have an assistant or have a production partner and want to have a team. Talk to the solo loan officers. So share with them, how did Jonathan in 2023 and 24
Yeah,
without an LOA?
without an LOA, LOA, LP1, assistant, whatever you want to call them. Jonathan in 2022, 2023, I was a solo guy. And it's really hard to do it all. I would batch record, and I would have 10 videos ready to go, and I would push them out. I'm not doing 7 different platforms, all these things. That's all new to me, and something I'm going to try and figure out how to implement with AI. But I think the goal for me at that point was 1 video a day. If I could do 1 video a day, I felt good about it, or 1 post a day, I felt good about it. And back then, I overanalyzed it. I did everything with good edits and all of these things. Now it's a selfie video. You can easily put something up, and you may never know what takes off. So just post the video. But you have to find a good way to balance your own schedule with setting up face-to-face meetings, making your phone calls, doing the social media content, and working on loans. That all comes down to how you block out your day. People will waste 50% of their day scrolling, doing anything, staring off. I mean, squirrel, right? Like something happens and all of a sudden you look down and you realize, oh, that was 40 minutes just went by. If you want to do it and be successful, you just got to lock in. And I know that's easy for me to say, but it's not. I get distracted very easily. So I have to have reminders on my calendar, like now it's time to shift.
So now that you've rebuilt yourself, teach us a little bit around strategy. So you're posting, a realtor's noticing you see that they like it or heart it from time to time. What's your strategy to slide in their DMs, or what's your strategy for outreach to actually prospect people that are watching your impressions?
It's great. So there's something called ManyChat. I'm sure you're familiar with it, but not everybody's familiar with ManyChat. So ManyChat has recently implemented a new tool where you can automatically DM somebody as soon as they start to follow you, which I think is huge. That's a big win. That just happened over the last couple of months, and it's made things easier. So I have my ManyChat set up with, hey, are you here because you want to learn more about loans because you're a realtor, or you're just here for the vibes? And then they can respond to that. So it's a multi-step funnel essentially that tells me how I'm going to respond to this person. But then what I try to do, what I always did before, and I'm trying to get back to, and I'm not perfect on this, is I send each person a video. And it's, hey, Wally, thank you so much for following. This is what I do to take care of my family. So it means the world that you would even take the moment to hit the like button or this follow button. And that, nobody does that. And it's so simple, and it opens up this easy thing. Wows are simple, not expensive. So you can go ahead and do a video like that, and it opens up a conversation. The strategy at that point is different now than it used to be. I think I didn't know the tools that were available to LOs to figure out if somebody is productive or not, because there are a lot of people that will ask for coffee, right? Hey, I'd love to pick your brain. I'd love to get coffee. And as you start to get busier, you realize you have to protect your time, and not every coffee is worth having. But it's, hey, I'll do a coffee, but can we bring 1 or 2 other people to try and maximize this coffee? Do you have a friend that you think would also get value from this coffee? Because I'd love to talk to both of you. That has helped, but also checking production, which I didn't do before. And that sounds terrible, but truthfully, if they've done one deal in the last 24 months, I can't take that coffee. It's just not worth it. I used to, because I didn't know. So I'd show up to somebody and I'm like, hey, this is what I do. Tell me about what you do. And they're telling me, I don't know how to spell contract. And I'm thinking, what did I just do? And here's the kicker. That sounds mean. It sounds cold. I'm responsible to a wife and kids at home to put food on the table, to take care of the bills, to make sure that everything's taken care of. And so that coffee just took away from that. And I can't let that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's greed. I don't think it's ego. I think it's when you see value in yourself, you only want to work with people that find you valuable. And I think the loan officers that I talk to out there that focus on, if you can fog a mirror, I'm going to do a meeting with you. They just don't see themselves to be valuable. And now that you've elevated your game and your success, you see more value in yourself, which you want to be around professionals that find you valuable. I love it.
Yeah. So the strategy's changed, obviously, but yeah, I'm here for it. I love it. I met with somebody new this morning. It was a financial advisor who's a referral from a realtor that I work with. And, I think that's going to be a great relationship, because she said, hey, I've got somebody, but they can only do deals over 7 million. I was like, awesome. I love working with poor people. Let's go. I'll do less than 7 million all day.
I remember one of the first financial advisors I worked with, her name was Jeanne Richer. And it was, I can't even remember the name of the company, but this was like 2015, 2016. And she goes, hey, talking about asset depletion. And she goes, the least wealthy client I have has about $70 million in liquid assets. And I go, yeah, I think that would work for asset depletion. So like, I get it. I get back in my car and I'm like Googling, what is asset depletion? Learning. I'm like, it's but that's awesome though. So yeah. How did the realtor conversation start for the realtor to refer you to financial advisor?
That realtor, I'll give him credit. He understands it. He's new to the area. He's actually only been in Dallas for 8 months. And he's one of those guys who is just built different. He understands, because his mom is actually one of the top 10 realtors in Colorado. She's amazing. And she was in town and he said, hey, do you want to meet my mom? I said, yes, I do. Because I could do loans in Colorado. But he is the ultimate connector. And when he introduces himself to people, he says, I'm a connector. Who do you want to meet? He said his question to everybody is, hey, if there's anybody that you could meet, who would it be? I wonder if I can make it happen. I mean, what a great question.
Do you know who Bob Bodine is?
No, tell me.
No, he wrote an amazing book. You would really, really enjoy meeting him. He's here in Dallas. He wrote a book, The Power of Who. And absolutely, he's written that book, but he's written one of my favorite books I've ever read. It's called Two Chairs, and it's about sitting next to God and your relationship with God. And he's locally here in Plano. But what was great about his book, Power of Who, he's built an incredibly successful NBA, NFL, NHL coach scouting business. And he would go to different schools or different coaches to place them together and connect them. And I remember him telling me, and he was teaching me one day, we had like a 2.5-hour lunch. I'm sorry, a 2.5-hour breakfast at Glen Eagles. And he was walking me through like how he built his business and how he wrote the book. And I mean, that's exactly why people massively succeed. I did a mortgage coach podcast show with Dave Savage last year, and I named it your net worth is dictated by your network.
Absolutely.
The more people,
I love that.
Yeah, the more people you introduce, the more people you connect, the larger your net worth becomes, because your network has grown.
Yeah, that's so good. My life verse is Proverbs 13:20. He who walks with the wise shall grow wise. The companion of fools suffers harm. And it really comes down to your circle is going to define you. And so I love that. It's how many people can you connect with? How many people are in that good circle? Continue to elevate that circle. And before you know it, random opportunities just appear. and it's not as hard as you make it out to be. Now I'm not going to say it's easy. Some people cold call. Cold calling is you, go for it. I don't love it. I like referrals. So
why do you think the connector part does not click with most loan officers?
I think we're short-sighted. I think loan officers, most loan officers are hungry, and not even hungry, starving. They see bread on the table and they're ready for the bread, not knowing that somebody's cooking some sort of roast for you later, right? I think the connection piece is we're quick to write people off and think, oh, there's nothing here for me right now. I need a deal right now. Where you can connect somebody and they may know 5 to 10 other people, which is pretty great. And it's also something where we're very self-absorbed rather than giving. Another mentor told me you're going to work for free a lot longer before you start getting fed, and said work for free as much as you can. And that didn't hit me until it started coming in, and then I realized, okay, I get it. I'm here to serve. What's the opportunity? What can I do? So a realtor posted on Facebook that they needed a 15-foot ladder, and I use his wife as my chiropractor, and it was at their office. They needed help. And so I said, hey, I'll bring one over to you. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Day was wide open. I knew that his truck couldn't, or his Jeep couldn't carry the ladder, and I had one. And I brought it to him. He's like, can I pay you? I was like, no, absolutely not. I want you to just use it. Tell me when you're done with it. I'll pick it up in a week or two. Just providing that value to people, I think, makes a big difference.
Yeah. Have you ever read the book, The Go-Giver?
Oh yeah. It was a great book.
Phenomenal book. It's definitely in the same lane of what you're talking about. In my book, I talked about how there's addition loan officers and multiplier loan officers. Addition loan officers go to a realtor, they get a loan, they get a commission, they go back groveling to the realtor. That's like 99.999% of loan officers out there. What we do differently in 24/7 is we're a multiplier loan officer. You go to a realtor, you get the same referral, but you refer it out 4 different ways. You refer it out to a financial advisor, you refer it out to a CPA, you refer it out to a family will attorney, you refer it out to an insurance agent. At minimum, you get 1 or 2 referrals back. What did you just do? You just took 1 commission and turned it into 3 commissions.
Exactly. We've actually taken it a step further, not only to refer it, but to created a small group where we get together. And it is a family attorney, a financial advisor, a realtor, a commercial insurance gal, and oh gosh, I'm forgetting the last one. But we all actually get together and we just talk life. Not even talking business at that point, but everybody knows, okay, we're all in this together.
Yeah. In the 70s, there was a business that started called BNI.
Yeah.
And it's comical how like that's been around the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. I'm not sure if it's still around. I'm assuming it's still around.
It is.
Exactly what you just described and exactly what the 6-lane highway community does. And it's one of these things that's like, it's not rocket science, but it's that 90% below water of that iceberg that most people don't even tap into. And they just take those little crumbs, which is the 10% above water as a loan.
Well, as a loan officer, if you have access to this information, if you're on this podcast, you just got gold from Wally, the 6-lane highway. But take it a step further is how do you teach that to your realtor partner? If you're going back to that realtor partner every week or every month asking for a new lead, how do you then pivot that and teach them, hey, there's actually other lanes on this highway. We're all going the same direction. Let's connect everybody so that it's a beautiful little family circle.
Do you know who Michael Mayer is?
No, who's Michael?
7 Levels of Communication author.
Oh, yeah. I know the book. I don't know the name. I'm bad with names.
No, you're good. You're phenomenal with scripture. He's been a great mentor and coach over the years. So he wrote the book 7 Levels of Communication for realtors, and he's got a great podcast. But he and I are in talks about writing 24/7 mindset for realtors, and then building courses and curriculum and bringing the 6-lane highway to realtors, the client concierge, post-closing, referral generating process to realtors. I think for a loan officer to learn those systems and take it to their realtors, just like you said, it puts you in such the quarterback position. And my least liked word or most disliked word is that word vendor. And business, and it just makes my skin crawl. But for us to not be vendors, for us to be true partners, we need to be able to add value.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, vendors, and the other one is, how's my client doing? I said, well, it's our client now.
That's too funny. Yeah, and it's super cool, like to watch the evolution of Jonathan. I remember on that same walk we talked about earlier, we were talking about how many texts you were getting and how many cold leads you were coming to you, and
Oh man,
and you were just like your phone. Or I think our walk was like an hour and a half, and your phone buzzed like nonstop.
it's unreal. So that was a different life, and it was a season that was necessary. Wally, that particular real estate agency, the brokerage, partnered with Zillow and Zillow Home Loans, which I think if you're a brand new realtor, a great way to get your reps in.
Yeah.
Get your reps in, do the thing, but figure out how you take that to the next level. How do I get the next referral from these clients? How do I build upon this? For me, I would get their self-source deals, but also every Zillow lead that came in at the time. And this was before Zillow Home Loans was doing their full court press. That's a whole different topic. But as these leads would come in, it was nonstop. It was, hey, I need a pre-approval now because I just showed them a house and they love it, which is great for that agent. But at that point, you're an order taker. You're not running a business. So I really had to get out of that. I had to figure out, how do I actually build a sustainable business that's not built upon leads, and start that over. So that has been the evolution over the last 24 months.
Well, we've got about 10 minutes left. And did you just recently have a birthday or about to have a birthday?
Next week, Wednesday, is the big 4-0.
Big 4-0. Such a puppy. Such a little puppy. You haven't even started in life. I haven't even started yet.
I haven't even started yet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's awesome. I think, golly, I'll be 48 this year.
Goodness.
Yeah, 50's right around the corner.
You look great.
You do too, dude. You do too. I think it's been, I'm sure the non-drinking alcohol has a lot to do with your
That
skin.
helps. Yeah, that definitely helps.
For sure. But so talk to us about, like, okay, what's the next, like, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year? So we looked in the rearview mirror of Jonathan. Let's look at the front windshield of Jonathan.
Yeah.
What's the future kind of look like?
Ooh, this is a good question, and I have some time carved out next week to just sit in silence and reflect on that. And it's one of the questions that I'm asking myself every day is, what does that look like? I think it's continuing to build upon this, but I think next year it will look extremely different than it does now. I have the opportunity now, through some different work that we don't have time to get into. Maybe there's a part 2 of this where I get to be in some rooms that people can't even pay to be in right now. And it's really rewarding. And I have a peek behind the curtains. And so with that, I think, God, why have you placed me in this room? How did I get at this table? How did I just meet this person? And I think there's something being built there. I just don't know what it is yet. And so I'm excited about it. I'm excited for my 40s. 30s were a kick in the pants, man. You're figuring life out. You think you've arrived. You think you're great. You're past your 20s. You're no longer a knucklehead. You're building something, and then something can shift. In 7 minutes, your life can change, and you have to redirect. And there are plenty of studies of people who started their companies in the 40s and have had wildly successful lives. So I'm excited for that. I don't know what the future holds. I've got a couple ideas. There may be some coaching involved in there. There may be some speaking involved in there. We'll download that in the near future.
Awesome. So let's look like just ahead of us. Talk to us. You made a really big goal this year, and you shared that a really big number. And walk me through, how's that been coming along? What do you credit some of your successes? Feel free to share a failure or two along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not all roses. Things are hard still. Hard, but not impossible. So I set a goal at the beginning of the year, which is a big number for me, but not for a lot of people. There may be people on this that are doing double that or not. But it was to serve 83 families, which should be about 38 million this year. And all of that is self-source volume. And so far, it's going really well. I think I mentioned March is looking incredible. Over 4 million in the pipeline for March, and then April is already building. So it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that. I hope I hit that goal. But I had a friend once that I was really excited. I told him, hey, I hit my goal. And he said, of course you did, because you set goals that you're going to hit because you're competitive and you don't want to lose. So why don't you try setting one that you don't think you can hit and see how much further you can go? And I was like, dang, this guy read my mail. So I put that goal out there because I knew that it was a stretch goal. But with that goal, for me, success isn't the number. It's, can I still have dinner with my family every night? Can I still go to every soccer game and volleyball game and be at every theater performance? Because to me, success, and I learned this from a guy named John Maxwell. You may have heard of him before, but John says, success is when the people who know you the best respect you the most.
It's a really great one.
Big fan. He's a good man.
He is. It was 2014 through 2017. I was one of his certified coaches, speakers, and trainer. And there was multiple times that I got a chance to meet with him and him pour into me. Coaching leadership and coaching what he taught was an absolute transitional blessing for my late 30s, early 40s.
Love that.
Yeah. The book 5 Levels of Leadership is a staple. It's a cornerstone of any leader out there, period.
Yeah.
It's crazy also the dude's written like something silly, 80, 90, 100 books. There's so many variations of his wisdom.
You know, he has a massive team around him. To be John for that long, to be that successful for that long, to be a voice of leadership and wisdom for that long, he works hard still. And he'll tell you, retirement is not an option. He goes, why would I retire? He goes, this is what I was called to do. I love it. Now, when it comes to mortgages, a little different. Retirement is not, mortgages are not what I was called to do. I'm good at them. But who knows what the next chapter holds? And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, my ghost author for the book 24/7 Mindset co-wrote a book of John's once, and he still had a good connection with his executive assistant. So I'm like, dude, like, you know, let's get this book written. Why don't you ask to see if John Maxwell will write the foreword in my book? Huh. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. I'm like, and shout out Dave Savage. Thank you for writing the foreword of my book. But when I reached out to John Maxwell, I wrote this beautiful long letter, and he sent a message back via email, and he was like, I really appreciate the opportunity, but I'm going to respectfully decline. I'm like, all right, I thought I'd try.
There you go. You got to shoot your shot, buddy. You never know.
Got to shoot your shot. All right. We've got 2 minutes left. Walk us through, what is Jonathan's advice for a loan officer? What's your closing thoughts? Where do you feel like you can inspire others?
My closing thought is, look at your calendar. That will tell you where your business is going to be 60 to 90 days from now. There's a lot of time that can be wasted in this industry. This industry gives you complete autonomy. You can do whatever you want, but with that, most of us are lazy. So get after it, look at your calendar, double down on that, have as many face-to-face meetings and phone calls as you can, but also be intentional with the people that are around you, that you have already. Your realtors are just as important as your clients. Love on them. Tell them that they're walking on water and that you love them. Same with your financial advisors, your CPAs, your family attorneys. They are just as important as the next client. Yeah,
absolutely. I think one of the best tools I've ever learned came from Todd Duncan. And he called it the 55-5 rule. And the 55-5 rule is where you work for 55 minutes, write down what you did for 5 minutes. Work for 55 minutes, write down what you did for 5 minutes. You do that for a full day. And he was like, if you play on TikTok, you got to write it down. If you play on Instagram, you pick your nose for 20 minutes, whatever it is, you've got to write it down. When you go through it, and I remember the first time I did it, and he said, grab 3 highlighters. The green highlighter, which teaches you what activities you did during the day that actually were dollar productive, that made you money. A yellow highlighter, what activities you did during the day that led you to making money but didn't make you money. And a red highlighter is what activities did you do that day that made you zero money, but they're necessary to do: email, calendar, things of that nature. And what was brilliant about it, when I went through it, I'm like, I didn't do that until 2016. I was already closing 100 million.
Wow.
2016. And when I did that, I was like 30% green time and like 60% yellow time and like another 30% red time. And it's, you look at it like, holy smokes, like majority of my day, it was like 60-70% of my day was yellow and red time. How efficient can I be? And any loan officer that I coach that asks, hey, I really need to get an assistant. I said, sure. Okay. But you've got to figure out, here's a tool. I teach them the 55-5 rule. And I say, Todd Duncan taught me this. And I said, what's going to be great about that is when you finish this, anything red, anything yellow becomes your loan officer assistant's actually job duties and job roles, which takes off your calendar, takes off your plate. And it's comical. I'd probably say 85-90% of the time I follow up with that loan officer in coaching. And their response is, yeah, I don't think I need to hire an assistant. And you realize how much inefficiencies you have during the day of just playing on social media, goofing off.
Yeah. That's really good. I think, I know we're running up on time, but hiring an assistant made me more responsible to my calendar because now if somebody else is working all day, I should be too.
Yeah.
And what's weird about that is the pipeline started to grow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
the best
accountability matters.
The best thing you can ever do for your business is make yourself financially responsible for others. And,
exactly.
And once you do that, it's an absolute game changer. All right, Jonathan, as always, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for your friendship of the years. Thank you for making time for this podcast. And if there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know.
Love you, brother. Thanks for including me.
See you, man. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, but from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.